Hello viewers and welcome to another Doctor Who episode review. Today I'm reviewing The Celestial Toymaker, written by Brian Hales and Donald Tosh. This episode is a missing episode with only part 4 remaining, and it ran from the 2nd to the 23rd of April 1966, starring William Hartnell as the Doctor, Peter Purvis as Stephen Taylor and Jackie Lane as Dodo Chaplet. Three of the parts are missing apart from part 4, in which part 1 is the Celestial Toy Room, part 2 the Hall of Dolls, part 3 the Dancing Floor, and part 4 the Final Test. So what do I think of this episode? I think this is excellent. I think it's great. I think, each part kept me interested. It's a very unique story, and I found the Toymaker really acted well, and such a great character, because we don't know anything about him really apart from him being an immortal. So basically they're in the TARDIS, they've landed, the Doctor disappears, turns invisible, and then they come out of the TARDIS and the Doctor's there again, and they meet this Celestial Toymaker, who we don't know much about, but the Doctor seems to have met him before and knows a little bit about him with the games and the mind, and Stephen's mind and Dodo's mind got tricked on at the beginning, and it was quite a interesting sort of development with the Doctor and the Toymaker, because we've never seen the Toymaker before, but they've met before, so it was kind of like, ooh, who is the Toymaker? Is he a Time Lord like the meddling monk? But no, he's not. He's just an immortal or an eternal, as mentioned in Can You Hear Me from Series 12. So basically they land in the toy room and they can't leave. The Toymakers made the TARDIS disappear and moved somewhere else, and he's not letting them escape until they play his games, as he's lived already for millions of years and he's bored, so he likes to play those games. And they all need to win the games in order to get the TARDIS back, in which the Doctor, he gets his own big game, which is from parts 1, 2, 3 to 4, in which he plays the Trilogic game, in which he has up to 1023 moves to do it in, and he can't stop or he can't talk, otherwise there'd be a penalty of extra moves being added on from the Toymaker, as he can do that anytime. So while the Doctor does that, Stephen and Dodo go and play multiple games, and they've got to complete all of their games and win them all before the Doctor's finished playing the Trilogic game. And I thought, oh god, this is very interesting, very different, very interesting. So the first game, played by Stephen and Dodo, is with two clowns, Joey and Clara, and the Toymakers put them in there, and they have to do a blind man's buff sort of game, in which they have to be blindfolded and they have to go through an obstacle course while the other person presses the button and tells them which way to go. So then we see the clowns do it, and they do it perfectly, and then we see Stephen and Dodo do it, and the clowns are cheating, and they drew, and they can't draw. One of them's got to win, one of them's got to lose, so they did it again, and Stephen and Dodo obviously won. And then they went into the dolls room, in which some playing cards were thrown in by the Toymaker while the Doctor was still playing his game. And so they were in there trying to distract them from finding the correct chair, because from the clue that they got given at the end of part 1, it was on about the say the 7 chairs and the 6 chairs that are dangerous, so they have to find the correct chair in order to move on to the next game. So they do that, but yeah, so not much to say about that. They do end up winning after kind of tricking the playing cards a little bit, and then they go into another TARDIS box, which is obviously empty, and pick up another clue, and it's about the dancing floor. So they go in, but they go into a kitchen, and they have to find a key to go in the last game. And Mrs. Wiggs and the Sergeant Rugg, I can't remember his name now, they're there to distract them and to kind of stop them from getting the key. So spend the time doing that, and then they eventually go to the dancing floor, and they have to try and get to the next box, like the TARDIS. And then in the final part, when the Doctor's nearly finished his game after a couple of penalties from the Toymaker, Stephen and Dodo do the last game with Cyril, and they have to jump on the triangles, and there's 14 triangles to get to the TARDIS, and they have to roll a dice, and it's pretty tense really. And the floor's electrified, and that game was, Cyril were kind of making up his own rules, but not. And obviously Stephen and Dodo win and get to the end, while Cyril electrocutes himself and is basically dead. And the Doctor goes over and congratulates him on his 1022nd move. And they got the TARDIS back, and they tried setting off and escaping, and obviously it didn't work. And basically, let the Toymaker, in order for them to go, the Toymaker wants the Doctor to make his final move. But in order for the final move, he can either not do it and lose, which they'll become dolls in the Toymaker's doll's house, or if they win it, everything will be destroyed, and obviously the Doctor, Stephen and Dodo and the TARDIS will be destroyed. But obviously the Toymaker is immortal, and he can just create another world pretty easily. So it was quite a decision for the Doctor to make, and at this point I was like, God, what's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? How is he gonna get out of this one? And they go in, and the Doctor, after quite a bit of thought, to be fair, he finds out a way to do it, in which he does what the Toymaker does, and adds moves on. Adds extra moves on. So first, in his own voice, he said, "Move 1023." And then after nothing happened, he redid it in the Toymaker's voice, and they took off. The TARDIS taking off, and they were escaping, and the Toymaker's world was being destroyed. And that was it. I thought it was a great episode. I really did. And I can't believe we haven't seen the Toymaker since. I know there's like the audio episodes, but like on screen, I want to see more of the Toymaker, because I find him a very interesting character, and I think it'd make a good comeback in series 13 of Doctor Who with Jodie Whittaker. I think he'd go well with that series after you were mentioned in series 12. But yeah, I think overall it was a really great episode. I wish it was found. Like my feelings towards this episode is like my feelings towards Dalek's Master Plan, because it's brilliant episodes, and especially this one with it being very visual. Yeah. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I wish we saw the Toymaker again, but we haven't. But anyway, that's the end of this review. And yeah, there's the Savages, the Smugglers, and the 10th Planet to review. And then I'll be moving on to the Patrick Troughton stories. And next week I will be doing the finale, reviewing the finale of Series 12, The Timeless Children, and I hope I see you then. I can't even speak today. So please like, comment, and subscribe for more videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye.